So today I want to talk to you about protein. So protein is one of your macronutrients along with carbohydrates and fat. And it's probably, well, I should say it's definitely the one that most clients have the hardest time consuming enough of. It's really not difficult to consume enough carbohydrates. Most people are afraid of fat. We covered that in another video and why fat's so important. But protein is super, super important. And without getting overly science with you, the key thing that you need to understand in regards to protein, from our 6-week challenge standpoint, is basically protein breaks down to amino acids, and those amino acids are the building blocks to your body. And we often talk in terms of exercise, building blocks to muscle. But really the building blocks to all kinds of things, enzymes, all kinds of stuff, right? But from a muscle standpoint, what we want to focus on is, from a weight loss standpoint, muscle is super important because it's not just about weight loss, it's really about fat loss. Because you can lose weight, you can go on a starvation diet, you can over-exercise, and the pounds go down on the scale, but most of that's going to be first water and then followed by mostly muscle. And while the scale goes down, why is the fat still here, right? It's because you haven't lost any fat weight, you've lost muscle weight, you're losing lean mass in the legs and the arms, and we're just losing muscle mass. And at first it's like, oh, my jeans are fitting better, but my thighs are skinnier. But no, actually, you're losing muscle, and that's not a good thing because down the road, that's really going to mess your metabolism, your hormones, and that's why you gain all the way back and then some. That's why you lose strength. It's easier to get injured as you get older. So muscle is super important. So we're training hard here. We want to actually put on muscle. Now, you're not going to put on a tremendous amount of muscle. That's just not reality. You're not going to turn into a freak bodybuilder. That's not going to happen unless you have the genetics and the drugs to do that. And the type of training we do here doesn't support that anyway. We're here to build some nice, lean, sexy muscle tissue, add a few pounds here and there across the body. By the way, 1 pound of muscle, about the size of a fist. So you spread 5 of those around the body. It's not like you're all jacked up, right? But we can lift some things, we can shape some things, and it looks good. But that muscle at rest actually elevates our metabolism, and it puts us into more of a fat-burning state. So coming back to protein, we have to eat enough protein to feed that process. So your protein is going to come from, your meats, your chicken, your fish, your beef, okay, and so on. Nuts are not a protein. I know Janelle covers that in the nutrition seminar, nor is peanut butter. Those are fat sources that happen to have some protein. So protein is going to come from those foods. Whole food sources are obviously always going to be the most ideal, but the problem with protein is convenience. Having to, get good sources, and protein is, for when you're spending your money on groceries, protein is one of the areas that you're going to want to make sure you're getting high quality. Right? You don't want to be eating animal meats that have been injected with a lot of hormones and drugs and other things, antibiotics. You don't want that in your body, right? So the quality of protein is going to be super important. That's why I like grass-fed beef, wild-caught salmon, pasture, out in the field chickens and all that kind of stuff. But that's not always convenient. So be very cautious of your alternative choices. For example, sometimes you might grab some deli meat. Well, some deli meat's great, just literally like the real deal. Other deli meat's full of junk, right? So that's something to think about. Protein bars, another one where it's pretty much almost impossible to find a high protein bar that's not full of crap. They just don't exist. The really good bars are actually not protein bars. For the most part, they have maybe 12 grams of protein. We've come across one, Dallas Raw Food Bar, that we do enjoy. It's got 20 some odd grams of protein in it. Obviously, it's not protein only. It's got other things in it too. But that one's actually something we don't actually recommend on the 6-week challenge for some other reasons, but something we'll use maybe off the challenge. I certainly use them at times when I travel. They are convenient. But my go-to resource is protein powder because that's easy to travel with. I put it in little baggies, Ziploc bags, and I bring that with me. And you've learned, you'll learn that I do travel quite a bit. So protein powder, obviously this don't mean to be a commercial for what we carry, but there's a reason we carry this protein powder. And on the surface level, it's you can look at the fact that it's non-GMO, it's grass-fed, there's no corn, there's no soy, there's no gluten, there's no bad stuff in it. Then you can go a little deeper and say, okay, let's look at the 4 ingredients. The fact that there is only 4 ingredients is huge. Most of your protein powders are going to have several ingredients, things in there like fillers and binders and gums and sugars and artificial sweeteners that are really terrible, like not like a good, like maybe like a stevia, but something from a plant leaf, but more like a sucralose, which there's a lot of stuff out there about that, and we don't even know half the stuff, right? So the ingredients are really important, and you only need what you need. So whey protein isolate is going to be the ideal form of protein in this case. Natural flavor from vanilla bean, so that's awesome because that's what makes it taste so good. The stevia from the plant leaf, and I also know there's just a pinch in there. It's actually not a lot. I've had some protein powders. What I didn't like about them was they put too much stevia and it was just too sweet. And then the last one is sunflower plant lecithin, which is super important because you often will see soy, which is something we want to totally avoid. We don't have time to get into that in this video, but the fact that the quality of the product, what's not in the product, the fact that there's only these 4 ingredients. In addition, if you look on the label, you'll see that it has 4 grams of glutamine added to it, which is phenomenal, and 5 grams of branched chain amino acids, which is super phenomenal. Obviously, no time to get into that in the video, but the product of choice, this is what I put in my body. I've been putting this in my body for years. I love the fact that it mixes super easy. I just mix it in water, like a water bottle like this, and just shake it up. Give you a couple little recipes here. I know this video is a little long, but I travel, as you know, a bit, or you will know, I travel a bit. So I'll do I'll get a green juice. Evolution is a brand I get at Whole Foods a lot when I travel. Make sure you get the one with the lime because it has really low sugar. Other ones like that have use other things for flavoring, because it's vegetables all mixed up, but they put apples in there or bananas or pineapples, and it really sweetens it up, and the sugar content's really high. So with the one with the Evolution greens with lime, I'll just take a few big swigs out of it, and then I'll put 3 scoops of protein in there, shake that up, and that's an awesome snack. I will actually, with my protein, I will make, I'll do coffee sometimes. I really enjoy that. So I'll do like a latte, that's just literally good high quality organic coffee and almond milk. And then if I'm making this at home, I will add some grass-fed butter, some coconut oil, so get some healthy fats in there. But then I'll put protein. What I like to do is actually like to let it cool a little bit and then stir the protein in. It mixes really easily. Just let it cool a bit, and I actually will turn it into more of a cold latte protein drink, and I really enjoy that. Nice little pick-me-up, and I get my protein. So lots of things you can do there. Hit me up for protein recipes. We've got just tons of great ideas. But just when it comes back to protein, it's all about making sure that you're getting enough. And we talk about that. We kind of prescribe a certain amount of protein for you. We typically start off our females at 100 grams of protein. We may go as high as 120. Males, we typically start about 140, 150, depending on the guy. We may go 160, 180, depending on the person. So we start with the levels that we give you, get your body adjusted to that, and then if we can, we'll increase that. And we'll increase it according to your lean body mass. So for example, if a female has like 125 pounds of lean body mass, she can actually handle more protein without gaining any body fat. So we'll start off at 100, get her body used to that. If she feels good with that, great. If we think, find that she's either hungry or maybe is even losing some muscle mass, we're going to increase that protein intake, and we're okay, as an example. So there you have it. The video got long, but protein is probably one of the biggest things you want to really understand and make sure you're getting enough of in your body every single day. So there you go.